But I want to go into some more entertainment stuff, but the different side. Because we're actors here, I want to talk about Sag-Aftra for a second. So Sag-Aftra is finally buying their own building. They're finally doing it. They've been renting forever off Wilshire, but I want to break it down a little bit. So they're buying this new building. It's in the Valley. It's in North Hollywood at 12020 Chandler Boulevard for $46.6 million. The property features 118,000 square feet of commercial office space. You have 122 acres and a nearby 0.71 acre vacant lot. So there's me parking. It's the Valley. There's ample parking. Where you're at right now, you have to go to a parking garage. Well, a lot of times you have to pay. Sometimes you don't have to pay. It's a bitch. It's back and forth. Whatever. That's what it is. So they're finally doing this. Now, this has been a big debate for years. I know the Membership First side has been asking this forever. They've been wasting our money. Hollywood Reporter says we've been spending about $6 million a year on rent. But I think the number's closer to like 9 million. That's what I've been told, 8 or 9 million. And it might even more than that. That's just what they report. But it's a lot of our dues have been going towards that. So now they're eventually going to buy a building. That's what's happening. It's moving forward. Now their lease, where they're at right now, doesn't run up until 2032. That's when it runs up. So what? Are they going to keep? Yeah, 2032. That's when their lease ends. So they're not even going to move to this building right away? But I mean, if you go back in their time though, SAG initially did their first building they did buy. The first time they had a headquarters, they bought it. All right. And that was off Sunset Boulevard in 1956 for $200,000. And then they were there for 30 years. And they sold it and they went to a church. They moved into the Hollywood Congressional Church. And then after that, they were offered to actually buy that. And they said no. They offered for $6 million. And they said no. First, they were in a church, which is weird. But, so then they moved again after they leased for a while. And they went to where they are now, off Wilshire at the Historic Museum Square building. Nice high rise. They've been there since 93. It's beautiful. Been there a bunch of times. It's great, right? But the fact they're paying this much money in rent is insane to me. And I've always thought this for a long time. And I've always said they should go to the Valley. That makes sense. There's so much real estate. There's parking. I mean, we're an actors union. We should be smart about this. We should put in our dues towards that. We have a lot of issues that could be fixed. And that could be some money. And SAG said that, over the long run, yes, they will build equity and they'll have a more flexible and they'll have stability finally. And that's good. That's a good thing. So this is some big news that came out today. I was really excited to hear it. And I'm like, finally, this is happening. I'm going to go with Sabrina first here. Sabrina, what do you think about this? Are you excited that SAG is finally making this move, or should they have kept renting?
Yeah, I'm super excited they're finally making this move, but for me, it's too little too fucking late. Like, kindly go fuck yourself. You fucking fuck people out of medical insurance over the pandemic because you can't manage your fucking money properly. And we're all paying you dues and paying you like all the things that we're supposed to pay you. And there's like a cap on the dues. So Tom Cruise only has to pay dues up to $500,000. But like I have to pay dues if I make $200,000 and I'm fucking literally nobody. So it's not fucking fair. Their system's broken just like our government system's broken. And that aside, you're paying like, a fucking $700,000 a month fucking rent a month. You could have circumvented. You could have circumvented that shit that you did with our medical insurance when during a pandemic you decided that it would be a good idea to raise the amount of money, the threshold that you had to make before you could achieve or earn your medical insurance. So honestly, I think it's too little too late. Good on you for making the decision. Like now, fucking 2 years later, after people lost their medical insurance and had to go fucking on Cobra and fucking are fucked. So, I mean, thanks, but no thanks. You're assholes. I hate SAG. And I think it's really fucking fucked up that you have the audacity to buy a building in the Valley after you've deprived fucking 1 million people of their medical insurance, like most of your people of their medical insurance, and also took away residual earnings to fucking people who are retired. How else are they supposed to earn their medical insurance? That doesn't even make any sense. It's ridiculous. And I feel like they're ageist and they're fucking poorest. Because the people who got deprived of their medical insurance are the people who make up most of SAG, which are background actors, stand-ins, and small day player actors. So I really have no love for them, and I feel like they have no love for fucking the little people on the totem pole. And they also fucking give out to the rich, which is what everyone does in this fucking country, so I'm not fucking surprised. Sorry for being so fucking hostile, but that is the truth. And thank you, Krista. I will preach, girl.
Sabrina's fired up about this.
I hate it.
I mean, we are all union members here, and it is tough because everyone's very divided on. There's two sides. If you know the union, there's two sides, and it's very political. there are two sides, and then they tell you to choose a side. I've run for the board. You have to choose a side, kind of. And there's ups and downs for everybody. I will always say that there's goods and bad for everybody. I 100% on the board, but I think we should have done this a while ago. But like, what's done is done. We're at. This is a good move forward.
Long time ago, they should have done this shit. They're pissing away fucking like almost $1 million a month rent. That's fucked up.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's our membership dues. Darin, what do you think about this? You hear about this? I know Sabrina's really fired up about it. What do you think? What's your thoughts on this, about them finally buying a building in the Valley?
I mean, it's not surprising due to the fact the monthly rent of the current location is, a few $100,000 in the area that they're at in Miracle Miles got progressively dirtier. I mean, it's not worth the price. It's just not. So where they're moving on Chandler, like, I know that property very well. It's kind of congested in my view. It's definitely going to be an inconvenience for...
I'll ride my bike there, bro.
Yeah, for people that are visiting. If they allow people to use the parking garage across the street, which strangely enough, it's not as easy as you think, because I've done business in that building before. It's right next to train tracks. It's on a very narrow...
That's true. Chandler's a bitch.
Yeah, it's a very narrow part of Chandler Boulevard. There's one-sided street parking on the south side of the street, which already kind of makes that road crammed enough. I'm sure they're getting a much better deal on the property. How could they not? Being on the south side of the hill doesn't have the same benefits as it used to. And I mean, that's a whole separate topic on its own. But a lot of things that you do there, you can do in the Valley as well. This isn't 1994 anymore. There's a nightlife in the Valley. There's things happening. I noticed when I was driving for Uber like a couple of years ago, a lot of people are leaving the south side of the hill and they're populating the Valley really heavily. And I'm sure it's because, especially if you're a local, that's where the next great property is. I feel like the time to get in on Valley Village, where they're locating, is a little past at this point because that's become such a high rent area. But I mean, you get up north in Woodland Hills, Calabasas. I mean, that's going to be the new Beverly Hills before you know it.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, we live in this area too. It's very close to Cruise Control Central. But there's NoHo West.
I ride my bike there and picket in front of their fucking shithole fucking building.
But NoHo West came in just north of that, which is huge, just redeveloping this whole area. I mean, then the NoHo district right there, the arts district is beautiful. It's really risen up. So this whole area keeps getting better and better. And like Darin said, more people are moving here because, it is more like other places in the country. There's parking a lot of times. There's, it's like more... It's more urban. There's more residential. It's not like that congested. And you're right. There's a lot of issues that happen south in the Valley or south of the Valley. There's a lot of stuff that happens in Hollywood where they're at.
To be fair,
Wilshire's not the best over there these days. It's just not. It's just not.
On Chandler, where it's at, Chandler and Laurel Canyon is 100% better than parking was on Wilshire and Miracle Mile.
Well, sure. I mean, of course, that's obvious.
But not to people who are listening, it's not obvious.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, too, it's like we'll see how big that lot is. They said it's like a 0.7 acre lot they're going to have. So hopefully that can give them some parking. Again, at Wilshire, they did have that big parking structure, but before you had to pay and then reimburse. And then it was like a whole thing, and then sometimes they would argue to get valid. It was a whole thing. And then they didn't have that much room. They're going to have a lot more room here. A lot more room. Yes, hopefully that helps the membership. Hopefully they put in some studios, maybe they put in some voiceover booths. They put in,
exactly.
do stuff like that. Like do stuff that can help, help the people, like the little guy grow up, get bigger, like help people with their career, put on more workshops, The thing is, since COVID, we've been a lot of this, like not, in person. So hopefully that leads to more in-person stuff now. And we get there, we build back better or build better or whatever you want to say. I don't want to use the Biden thing. Fuck, you know what I mean? It's got to build. We got to build better.
I was told there was no politics here when I agreed.
No, there is not.
I didn't want to say the Biden thing. No, that just came out.
I thought you were going to say make SAG great again. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Make SAG great. I'll say both of them. I'll say both sides. Make SAG great again. Let's go back to the 50s. Come on, we used to buy things.
Not too much of a spoiler alert, but this is a letter I received from the White House in 2019. So, but anyway, there's all politics there for you.
Well, this is a big move, everybody. It really is a big move for SAG. Like we said before, they had a track record for just like renting for years. And as we know in Hollywood, the prices keep going up. For years. And they're throwing money away, if you ask me.
Why the fuck are we doing this? Why are we spending this money?
at least our dues are going towards a payment for something that's going to be paid off eventually.
Sabrina, I think you need to take a moment to sympathize with all of our hardworking SAG-Aftra employees. They need the luxuries.
No, absolutely no.
Nice
It's
high
a hard
rise.
fucking no.
It's a very nice high rise.
I was very, very, very well with SAG until they fucking fucked us over the pandemic. Like when they took away the shit from the fucking people who were retired and they raised the threshold of what you needed to make when they shut us down for months. Like they're like, you can't make your insurance unless you make this much money. But we were legally not allowed to work for 4 of the 12 months and they didn't adjust the period. I lost all my respect for them, to be perfectly honest.
It's a lot.
Fuck
it's a lot.
You.
And a lot of people hurt from it.
For fucking one quarter and it was fucking brutal.